When my brother's wife changed the locks on the $600,000 condo I bought for myself, my family demanded I give her the deed and leave. So I called the police and had her arrested for trespassing. Welcome back, beautiful people. Before we begin, subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're tuning in from. We love seeing this community grow worldwide. I stood in the hallway of my own condo, key hovering over the lock that wouldn't turn. My hands trembled as I tried again, then again. The metallic scraping sound echoed through the corridor, each failed attempt tightening the knot in my stomach. That's impossible, I whispered, checking the key fob. Same elegant silver keychain I'd bought myself after closing. Same key. Wrong lock. I'd been away for 3 weeks, caring for my grandmother in her final days. 3 weeks of holding her hand, singing old spirituals, watching her slip away. I was exhausted, grief-hollowed, desperate for my own bed. Instead, I was locked out. My phone buzzed. Mama. Did you make it home safe, baby? Mama, something's wrong. My key doesn't work. What you mean it don't work? The lock's been changed. I can't get in. Silence. Too long. Let me call Albert. My brother. My stomach dropped. Mama, why would you? She'd already hung up. I slid down against the wall, designer purse pooling beside me. I'd worked myself to exhaustion for 6 years. Double shifts at the hospital, weekend overtime, no vacations, to save the down payment for this place. $600,000. The deed had my name, only my name. My phone rang again. Albert. I didn't want to answer, but something told me I needed to hear this. Sis, about the condo. His voice had that edge. Guilty. Defensive. Albert, what did you do? It ain't like that. Tamara needed a place and you were gone, so. Tamara changed my locks? My voice cracked. Your wife changed the locks on my condo. She's family, Jeannie. You gotta understand. I hung up. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. 20 minutes later, I was still in that hallway when my phone exploded with calls. Mama. Daddy. Albert. My sister Linda. All within seconds of each other, like they'd planned it. A family ambush. I answered Mama first. Baby, we need to talk about this situation. Pie situation? Mama, I can't get into my own home. Now Tamara's got 3 kids and Albert lost his job. They got evicted last month. You know how hard things are. Her voice took on that practiced tone, the one she used when she needed something. You ain't even there most of the time with your work schedule. My throat constricted. So you knew? You all knew she was moving into my place. Don't take that tone. Family helps family. I help. I sent money when Albert's car broke down. I paid for Linda's kids' school supplies. I bought Daddy's medication last month. The words tumbled out, each one a stone I'd been carrying. I've been helping. This is different. They need stability. You got a good job, no kids, no husband. Because I've been working. I was standing now, pacing. I sacrificed everything for this condo. 6 years, Mama. 6 years of my life. Jeannie Marie, you being selfish. Tamara got babies to feed. What you need all that space for anyway? I felt something crack inside me. Like a bone breaking clean. Where am I supposed to sleep tonight? You can stay with us. We'll figure this out. Figure what out? It's my condo. Daddy's voice came through, having grabbed the phone. Your mama's right. Albert needs this more than you. Be reasonable. Reasonable. That word would haunt me for weeks. I'd spent my whole life being reasonable. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, drop a comment below. You're not alone. I sat in my parents' cramped living room at 8 p.m., still wearing my scrubs from the flight, my overnight bag at my feet. Everyone was there. Albert and Tamara on the good couch. My condo's couch, I realized with a jolt. My couch. Linda perched on the armrest, arms crossed. Mama and Daddy in their recliners, a unified front. Tamara smiled at me. Actually smiled. Hey sis. Sorry about the confusion. Confusion. My voice came out flat. You changed my locks. Well, we needed to secure the place. For the kids' safety. She said it like I should thank her. You understand. I looked at Albert. My big brother who used to walk me to school, who taught me to ride a bike. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Albert, say something. He shifted. Look, it's temporary. Just until we get back on our feet. How do you even get in? I never gave you a key. Mama cleared her throat. I had the spare from when you were at that nursing conference last year. The betrayal hit fresh. She kept my emergency key. Given it to them. Planned this. So everyone knew but me? I looked around the room. Y'all had a whole family meeting without me? Linda finally spoke. Don't be dramatic. It ain't like you homeless. You can stay here. I don't want to stay here. I want my home. Tamar's face hardened. See? This is exactly why Albert said you'd act like this. Bougie and selfish. You think you better than us, 'cause you got a degree? I never said. You didn't have to. She stood up, all 5'2" of her, finger pointing. Some of us didn't have parents who could send them to college. Some of us got pregnant at 19 and had to sacrifice our dreams. But you wouldn't know nothing about sacrifice. That night, sleeping on my childhood twin bed, the same squeaky mattress from high school, I couldn't stop shaking. My phone glowed in the dark. A text from my best friend, Margie. Girl, I just drove past your building. There's someone moving furniture out? Call me. I called. Slow down, what do you mean moving out? I'm watching them load a U-Haul right now. Your couch, that pretty dining table you saved up for. Everything. My vision blurred. Get pictures. Please. 5 minutes later, my phone filled with photos. My furniture. My artwork. The handmade quilt from Grandma. The one she'd given me 3 weeks ago on her deathbed, her final gift, being carried out by strangers. I stormed into my parents' room. They're stealing my furniture. Daddy groaned awake. What are you talking about? Tamara and Albert. They're moving my stuff out. Selling it. Mama sat up, rubbing her eyes. Now baby, they probably just need some cash too. To what? They stole my home, now they're stealing everything I own. My voice cracked. That quilt was from Grandma. Her last. I couldn't finish. The grief, fresh and raw, mixed with rage. Don't raise your voice at your mama, Daddy warned. Then tell your son to stop robbing me. I called Albert. Straight to voicemail. Tamar. Sim. I texted. I see you moving my furniture. That's theft. Tamar's response came instantly. It's just sitting there. We got bills. You can buy new stuff with your big salary. Stop being petty. Petty. I'd buried my grandmother yesterday morning. Paid for half the funeral myself. And I was being petty. I made a decision then, in that dark room, my parents watching me like I was the problem. If this story resonates with you, please subscribe. It gets so much worse. Morning light filtered through the windows of the police station as I clutched my folder of documents. Deed. Bank statements. Photos from Margie. My hands had stopped shaking, replaced by something colder. Clarity. The officer behind the desk looked tired. How can I help you? I need to report a trespassing and theft. My voice was steady now. Someone changed the locks on my condo and is removing my belongings without permission. Do you have proof of ownership? I slid the deed across the desk. My name. Only my name. His eyebrows rose. And who changed the locks? My sister-in-law. I was out of state for a family emergency. When I returned, I couldn't access my property. He typed slowly. Have you asked her to leave? Multiple times. My family is. I paused, choosing words carefully. They believe she has more right to it than I do. Because she has children. That's not how property ownership works, ma'am. He looked at me directly and I saw something like sympathy. You want to press charges? My phone buzzed. Mama, don't do nothing stupid. We can work this out as a family. I thought about Grandma's quilt. About the couch I'd saved 3 months for. About coming home to a changed lock after watching someone die. Yes, I said. I want to press charges. The officer nodded. We'll send officers to escort you to the property. If she refuses to leave, she'll be arrested for trespassing. You understand this might cause family problems. I almost laughed. Officer, my family is the problem. 2 hours later, I stood outside my building with 2 police officers. My heart hammered. This was real. I was really doing this. Ready? The female officer asked gently. I nodded. We went up. I knocked on my own door. The irony wasn't lost on me. Through the wood, I heard children's laughter, TV sounds. Normal life happening in my stolen home. Tamara opened the door, 2-year-old on her hip. Her face went from confusion to fury in seconds. What the hell? Ma'am, are you Tamara Jenkins? The male officer asked. Yeah, why? This woman, he gestured to me, is the legal owner of this property. She's asking you to vacate immediately. Tamara's mouth opened, closed. You called the cops? On your own family? You changed my locks. Stole my furniture. What did you expect? Stole? We needed that money. Albert is trying to find work and you want us on the streets. The female officer stepped forward. Ma'am, do you have any legal right to be here? Elise? Rental agreement. My husband's sister owns this place. It's complicated. No, I said quietly. It's simple. It's mine. I own it. You broke in. Tamara's oldest daughter appeared behind her, maybe 7 years old. Mommy, what's happening? My heart clenched. This wasn't the kid's fault. But it wasn't mine either. Ma'am, you need to gather your belongings and leave, the officer said. You have 2 hours. 2 hours? We got 3 kids. Where we supposed to go? I felt the words rise up, unstoppable. Where was I supposed to go 3 days ago when I came home from my grandmother's funeral? Tamara's face twisted. Oh, here we go. Poor Jeannie. You always been dramatic. Acting like you special, 'cause you got a nursing degree and bought a condo. Meanwhile, real people out here struggling. Real people. My voice rose. I am real people. I worked 16-hour shifts. I ate ramen for years. I sacrificed. You don't know nothing about sacrifice. The officer intervened. Ma'am, lower your voice. 2 hours. Start packing. Tamara didn't pack. She called Albert, who called Mama, who called Daddy, who called Linda. Within 30 minutes, my entire family descended on the building like a storm. You doing this? Albert's face was red, veins bulging in his neck. You really doing this? You did this, I shot back. You gave her my key. You helped her rob me. Rob you? We family. Family doesn't steal. Mama pushed through, breathing hard from the stairs. Jeannie, baby, please. Think about those babies. You want them in a shelter. I want them out of my home. The words echoed in the hallway. Neighbors had started peeking outdoors. Why is everyone acting like I'm the villain? She committed a crime. Daddy's voice boomed. She's your brother's wife. The mother of his children. You gonna destroy this family over a place. This place is everything I worked for. It's my security, my future, my... It's just walls. Linda shouted. They're people. The female officer stepped between us. Folks, you need to clear this hallway. Ma'am, to Tamara, your 2 hours are almost up. If you're not out, you'll be arrested. Tamara stood in the doorway, baby on hip, 2 kids clutching her legs. She looked at me with pure hatred. I'll remember this. We all will. You chose a condo over your family. You chose my condo over respecting me, I whispered. She didn't move. The officer reached for her handcuffs. Ma'am, turn around, please. No. I ain't going nowhere. This is family property. Everything happened fast. The officer tried to guide Tamara inside to set the baby down. Tamara jerked away. The baby started crying. Albert lunged forward. The male officer blocked him. Then Tamara was in handcuffs, screaming, and I was crying, and the children were wailing, and my mother was calling me a monster. The video went viral. Someone in the hallway filmed everything. Tamara's arrest, the crying children, my family screaming at me. By evening, I was all over social media. Black woman calls cops on family with kids. Heartless nurse has sister arrested over condo. Another example of black people calling police on each other. The comments were brutal. Death threats. Doxing attempts. My hospital's Facebook page got flooded with demands to fire me. People found my Instagram, my LinkedIn, everything. I sat in my reclaimed condo, empty now. They'd sold most of my furniture, reading the hate. She's what's wrong with our community. Imagine having your sister arrested in front of her kids. Bet she votes Republican. Nobody knew the full story. Nobody cared. I was the villain in a 30-second clip. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Jeannie Mitchell? A professional voice. Yes. I'm calling from Memorial Hospital's HR department. We need to discuss some concerns that have been raised about your conduct. Can you come in tomorrow? My stomach dropped. What concerns? It's better discussed in person. 9 a.m. I agreed. Hung up. Stared at my empty walls. A text from Margie. Girl, don't read the comments. You did what you had to do. Had I? I looked around at what I'd fought for. Empty rooms. Silent walls. My family wasn't speaking to me. The internet hated me. I might lose my job. Was it worth it? Another text. Mama, you happy now? Your brother's wife spent the night in jail. Those babies crying for their mama. Hope your precious condo worth it. I typed and deleted 5 responses. Finally sent. She stole from me. Mama, you dead to me. I dropped the phone. Slid down the wall. And finally completely broke down. Have you ever stood up for yourself and been made to feel like the villain? Comment below. The HR meeting was worse than I imagined. 3 people in suits, a folder of printed social media comments, concern etched on professional faces. Ms. Mitchell, we've received numerous complaints about your conduct. While we understand this is a personal matter, it reflects on the hospital's reputation. I was robbed, I said quietly. I exercised my legal rights. We're not here to judge the situation, but... Yes, you are. I cut in. You're judging me based on a video that doesn't show them stealing my furniture, changing my locks, or my family demanding I give up my home. Silence. The lead HR representative shifted. We're placing you on administrative leave pending investigation. Investigation of what? I committed no crime. Of whether you can continue to represent our values. I walked out in a daze. 6 years of perfect performance reviews. Countless overtime shifts. Employee of the month 4 times. Gone. At home, I forced myself to go through the chaos Tamara left behind. Searching for anything salvageable. In the master bedroom, my bedroom, I found paperwork shoved in a closet. Rental applications. All denied. Some from 6 months ago. My hands stilled. 6 months? I found more. Eviction notice from their previous apartment. Dated 8 months back. Court summons for unpaid rent. 7 months ago. My phone nearly slipped from my shaking hands as I called Albert. What? His voice was ice. You were evicted 8 months ago. Where have you been living? Silence. Albert, where? Different places. Linda's for a bit. Friends' couches. For 8 months you were homeless and nobody told me? Why would we? So you could judge us? Look down on us from your fancy condo. So I could help. You think I wouldn't have? I stopped. Would I have let them move in? Honestly? No. I dug deeper. Found Facebook messages on an old tablet Tamara abandoned. My stomach turned as I read. Tamara to Linda 3 months ago. Girl, Jeannie got that whole place to herself. Working all the time anyway. Albert needs to get his sister's spare key. Linda's response. Mama got one from when she was sick last year. But Jeannie will flip. Tamara, she'll get over it. What's she gonna do? We family. Plus once we in there a few months, might be able to claim squatters' rights. Squatters' rights. They planned this. For months. More messages. Tamara to a friend, Albert's bougie sister about to save us. She don't even know it yet. Family guilt trip works every time. Another one to someone named Tisha. Already got a buyer for that fancy couch. $800. She won't even miss it. She got money to burn. My grandmother's quilt. Sold on Facebook Marketplace. $75. $75 for my grandmother's final gift. The quilt she'd made by hand over 30 years, passed down through generations. I took screenshots of everything. My hands were steady now. The crying was done. I called my lawyer. Yes, I'd hired one after the arrest. This was war now. I found evidence of premeditation, I told him. They planned to steal my home months ago. Email me everything. This changes things. We can pursue civil charges for the furniture, emotional distress, possibly fraud. I hesitated. My family already hates me. Ms. Mitchell, they stole from you. Systematically. With planning. That's not family. That's criminals who happen to share your blood. After hanging up, I texted Mama the screenshots. No message. Just the evidence. She called within minutes. Where did you went through Tamara's things? My things. 600K Condo. Answer the question, Mama. Did you know they were planning this? Long pause. Not exactly. Not exactly yes or not exactly no? Jeannie, baby, you gotta understand. Mama's voice cracked. Albert has been struggling for years. Longer than you know. Then talk to me. I would have helped. That's the problem. He was crying now. You always helping. Always the successful one. Always making the rest of us feel small. The words hit like a slap. I make you feel small by succeeding? You don't understand what it's like. Being your parents. Having one child who's got it all together while the other two struggle. People ask about you. How's your daughter, the nurse? And we smile. But they don't ask about Albert or Linda. They pity them. So you let them rob me? To balance some imaginary scoreboard. To help your brother. He's depressed, Jeannie. Has been since he lost his job. Won't get help. Tamara's at her wit's end. They were sleeping in their car some nights with those babies. I sat down hard. Why didn't anyone tell me? Pride. His pride. Your daddy's pride. You know how black men are about asking for help, especially from their younger sister who's made it. I haven't made it, Mama. I worked myself to exhaustion. I sacrificed relationships, friendships, my 20s, everything, to have something of my own. And you all took it because Albert's pride was more important than my life. It ain't like that. Then what's it like? Explain it to me. Make it make sense. Silence. Then quietly, we thought you'd understand eventually. That you'd see it was for the greater good. The greater good? Mama, they sold Grandma's quilt for $75. I heard her gasp. They didn't. They did. I have the Facebook Marketplace post. Some stranger has the quilt Grandma made. Her last gift to me. Gone. Mama started sobbing. She didn't know. Tamara didn't know what that quilt meant. She knew it wasn't hers to sell. Subscribe if you want to see how this ends. Trust me, you won't believe it. 2 months later, I stood in civil court. My lawyer had built a case. Trespassing, theft, conversion of property, emotional distress. The value of stolen items. $14,000. Add the quilt's sentimental value, the cost to change locks back, cleaning, repairs. $23,000 total. Albert and Tamara sat across the aisle. No lawyer, they couldn't afford one. Mama and Daddy behind them. Linda beside them, glaring. No one sat on my side except Margie. The judge reviewed the evidence. Screenshots. Photos. Police reports. The deed. Ms. Jenkins, the judge addressed Tamara. You changed locks on property you didn't own, removed belongings without permission and sold items that weren't yours. Is this correct? Tamara's voice was small. Yes, Your Honor. But she's family. I thought. You thought wrong. The judge's voice was sharp. Family doesn't grant you property rights. Ms. Mitchell showed considerable restraint in only pursuing civil charges. In many jurisdictions, this would be criminal burglary. She ruled in my favor. Full amount plus court costs. $28,000 total. Tamara gasped. We don't have that kind of money. Then you'll make payments. Wage garnishment if necessary. The judge looked at me. Ms. Mitchell, I'm sorry this happened. You had every right to protect your property. Walking out, Mama blocked my path. Her face was worn, aged 10 years and 2 months. You got your money. Happy. I'll never see that money, Mama. They're broke. This wasn't about money. Then what? Respect. Boundaries. Acknowledgement that what they did was wrong. I looked past her at my brother slumped on a bench. Does he even understand that? He's broken, Jeannie. You broke him. He broke himself. I'm not responsible for his choices, his depression, his pride. I'm only responsible for me. Daddy approached. You've destroyed this family. Something inside me already cracked, shattered completely. No, Daddy. You all destroyed it when you decided my hard work, my sacrifice, my property meant nothing compared to Albert's feelings. You chose him. Every time. My whole life. 6 months later, I stood in my refurnished condo. New couch. New table. Everything new because everything old was gone. The hospital reinstated me after the lawsuit with an apology. The internet moved on to the next outrage. Life returned to normal. Except it didn't. I hadn't spoken to my family since court. Not one word. Mama sent a Christmas card. I returned it unopened. Albert's calls went straight to voicemail. Linda tried reaching out through Margie, who told her to stop. You won, Margie said one evening, wine glass in hand. Why don't you look happy? I stared out at the city lights. You know what the saddest part is? I don't miss them. Thought I would. But I just feel empty. Maybe that's growth. Or maybe I'm as cold as they said. Maybe I did choose a condo over family. Go, they chose a condo over you. Remember that. I remembered everything. Too much. Last week I saw Mama at the grocery store. We locked eyes across the produce section. I waited for her to speak, to acknowledge me, to show some sign of regret. She turned away. Walked to a different aisle. That night I sat in my beautiful empty condo and realized the truth. I'd won the battle but lost the war. I had my property. My dignity. My boundaries. But the cost was everyone I'd loved. The lesson? Sometimes standing up for yourself means standing alone. Sometimes doing the right thing feels completely wrong. Sometimes you protect yourself and lose everything else. I don't regret calling the police. But I grieve the family I thought I had, the one that never really existed. They showed me who they were. People who loved me conditionally, who saw my success as something to resent rather than celebrate, who would steal from me and call it love. So here I sit in my $600,000 prison. Free. Alone. And finally understanding that some victories are also defeats. My grandmother's quilt is still gone. I've searched online for months. No luck. That stranger has my family's history unknowing. Just like I now have a home filled with everything except the one thing that mattered. People who truly loved me. If this story touched you, please like and subscribe. Share it if you've ever had to choose between your peace and your family. Sometimes the hardest lesson is learning that blood doesn't guarantee love, and standing up for yourself might mean standing completely alone. The question I'm still asking, was I right? Or did I lose everything that truly mattered over walls and a roof? I'll never know. And that uncertainty is the real ending. No resolution, no redemption, just the quiet echo of a life won but not lived. If you or someone you know is dealing with family betrayal, remember, you are not selfish for having boundaries. You are not wrong for protecting what you built. And sometimes the family you choose is better than the family you're born into. Thank you for listening. Please comment with your thoughts. I read every single one. And if this resonated, subscribe for more real stories about family, betrayal, and the complicated truth of standing alone.